don't miss the one-day only 20% off sale over at Redbubble. Check the description section below for links to all of the anime searches and also the coupon code. Tokyo Marble Chocolate is an anime that I've honestly never heard of before, and that's pretty surprising for me considering that this is coming from Studio Production IG. So I sat down with a friend of mine to check this one out, and we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into, and thankfully we came away pleasantly surprised with this. Keyword being surprised, because we didn't know what to expect as we started watching this. It first appeared to be this lovey-dovey, doki-doki type of really short romance flick, and it turned out to have this massive element of comedy that was hidden. Now, basically what the story is about is that we have this girl who is a total klutz, and she is completely clueless when it comes to men, and I mean, right off the bat, like, you think this is going to be a really, like, nice romance story, because all the cute characters and the blushing, and she's talking about her boyfriends and whatnot, and it seems to be pretty serious at first, but then when we start getting flashbacks as to the reason why her previous relationships didn't work, like the time that her boyfriend's mom came out with like a tray of tea, and she like bows and like flips the tray up and hits the mom in the head and knocks her out, and you know that's probably going to end the relationship, because I mean if you knock somebody's mom out, you can just safe to say that you are probably not going to continue dating the person. But nonetheless, we have this girl, and she's contemplating breaking up with her boyfriend because there's so many problems that she sees going on, and she's very self-conscious about everything, but then again, at the same time, he is actually just as clueless and clumsy as she is. And what I liked about this was that it actually did something that was pretty unique from what I've seen anyways. The first episode is everything told from her perspective, and then the second episode is everything told from his perspective, and the events that they cover are actually the same, and there's a big misunderstanding that happens here, and it's really interesting to see her perspective and then flip over to his perspective as well. And here's where we get our comedic twist, because there's a miniature donkey inside of a present, and it just breaks out and starts causing all of these problems for the characters. It's got diapers, it's got a mohawk, and I didn't know what to expect, because, you know, this is something, it felt like anime being weird for the sake of being weird, and honestly, that's still how I feel about it after finishing it, but, you know, it's something that I didn't expect a donkey to be such a major character in the story when watching the first few minutes of it, at least, and it turns out that it's actually the catalyst for everything that happens between these two characters. So, on one hand, we have the fact that the characters are actually naturally funny on their own because they're so clueless in a relationship, and I found that to be pretty funny, like with the girl headbutting the tray as she bowed and knocking the mom out, and then we have the guy in the second episode, which also goes back and kind of tells somewhat of the same story, but from his perspective, where it's like his previous dates and how like his girlfriend was like, you know, there was these guys that came up and started picking on him, and she had to save him, so he was embarrassed and stopped dating her. So, you know, there are some funny things for both of these characters, and if the characters weren't funny, then the donkey would just seem out of place. And even though at the end of the day, the donkey was a bit funny, I still felt like it was somewhat out of place for something like this, but just taking it as it is, as a romantic comedy, I felt that it did the romantic elements well, and also the comedy well also, when you consider the fact that there's a big donkey running around with diapers and just causing such a wreck, and he's like licking the glass in the ice cream shop. Nonetheless, it's a pretty funny / romantic experience for this movie. You should definitely check this one out because it's only an hour long. It's got beautiful animation. I actually really found myself looking at some of the details as I was watching through this, like how they shaded the character's skin to make the fingers and the knees and everything look kind of red, and with the cheeks as well. We often see that with the cheeks, but it gave this impression that it was a very cold environment, and everybody's hands looked like there was a lot of, you know, they were very cold. That's how it felt to me. It also had pretty good music as well, so this is something that I definitely have to recommend, and for me, I don't know if I would classify this as a hidden gem. It's something that I've never heard about, but considering the fact that this is from Studio Production IG, I'm sure that there's plenty of you out there that are really surprised that I've never even heard about this, because I'm sure considering that it's such a popular studio that many of you might have already seen it, but if you haven't, definitely check it out. It's only 2 episodes long. Thanks for watching, and if you've seen Tokyo Marble Chocolate, let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.